All right, and we're live. Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode 54 of the Multiverse show. Welcome again. This is going to be we say this every week where it's jam-packed, but this year, not even this year, this time, we mean it. Like, we're talking peanut butter and jelly, marmalade, jam-packed here. That's what we're talking about right now. We got so much to cover. But guys, we got to get through our panel for the night. We also have a secret guest hopping in later. You guys will find out who that is when the time comes. So let's start with our original co-host, Fame Entertainment.
What's going on, people? Fame Entertainment here from TICGN.com. Welcome to another episode of the Multiverse show. Happy to have you guys rocking with us. If you're listening to us on Podbean or iTunes, you guys are watching live on the Inner Circle Network time. We appreciate you guys rocking with us. Another great show ahead of us. Don't forget to guys check out another podcast on this channel, the WXP Podcast, which is every other Wednesday. And thanks for rocking with us, man. It's gonna be a good show.
All right, we got our other co-host for the evening. I was gonna say Nick, but he's not here right now.
Feelings.
It's the first time he's missed it. It's too much. Anyway, for our former Soundmaster General, James.
Yo, back up now and give a brother room. The fuse is lit and I'm about to start the Multiverse show. Hello everyone, it's James Sterling Wilson at James_S Wilson. It's been a good week for films. No, it hasn't. It's been a terrible week for films, but it's been a great week for gaming news. Let's get in it. Yeah, buddy.
Whoa! Whoa! Sir!
You have not said that for weeks. Someone needs to say it.
Dropping the beats.
Sir! Yeah, buddy.
I'm in tears. I can't.
Not cool, man. Not cool.
All right. For sake of time, this show's already going to be an hour and a half, so don't expect this to be a 45-minute show. This is going to be a long one, so don't even expect that. All right, our other co-host for the evening, Mike.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not Mike. I'm Nick from Canada, eh? Not only am I on the show, but I'm also the president of the WGA, the World Canadian Bureau, and we want more money.
Hey, it doesn't sound like my buddy.
I'm not your buddy, friend.
Not your friend, pal.
I'm not your pal, guy.
Oh, my God.
I hope Nick enjoys that. I know he's watching the show right now.
Looking at the chat.
You know what? I think he needs a little timeout. I can't time him out. Oh no.
All right. And so
man.
We've got someone else. We didn't even introduce him.
We're getting to it.
Time him out. Oh no.
One of our guests for the evening. All right. We got Mr. Hardware himself, Jez.
Yes, Mr. Hardware himself. I've tried.
We didn't even introduce him.
We're getting to it.
Time him out.
Who did you time me out?
One of our guests for the evening. All right. We've got background sound. Everyone chill. Jez?
Yo, what's up, everybody? Mr. Hardware himself. I have tried all different hardwares. Wait a second.
Yeah,
man, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here in the background. Let me shut that thing down. Is that better? There we go.
There we go.
All right.
Your intro.
Anyway, Mr. Hardware himself. Yes, I have tried every accessory known to man for Xbox and PC. Usually, you can follow me on Twitter at Jez7780, and I have a lot to say today. Today was a pretty rough day. My Twitter blew up because I was seeing all this news that came out today. But yep, I'm master of technology and of all gamings, so I like to get involved in everything. So can't wait to talk about this stuff. No Canada jokes, but
sorry about that.
No Canada jokes, but for me.
All right, we got another guest who's hopping in the show tonight, but he will be along a little bit later. I will leave you all in suspense as to who it is. Anyway, We got a couple things we want to catch up on because we didn't have a chance to last time because we had Stevie. We had Stevie Richards from the WWE. Oh my gosh, I still can't believe we got that. But you guys can go check out that episode as well. That was episode 54 or 53 actually. Sorry. But briefly, kind of want to go over what have you guys been playing lately? There's been a lot of games releasing in the last month or so.
Yeah,
what have you guys been playing?
I've actually kind of been all over the place. Old stuff, new stuff. Of course, I've been playing Injustice 2 on the PS4. Absolutely love the campaign. Now I'm doing my whole grinding thing, getting my characters up. Absolutely in love with the Blue Beetle, best character in the game. I've been playing a Xbox 360 game. It's actually BC, a backwards compatible game. It's called Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds. Actually, a really, really cool game. It's a 2D beat 'em up style game, but it's actually a little more complicated than that. The fighting style is actually pretty awesome. Shank 2, another game I got on the backwards compatibility list, and I'm actually about to start the newest. Oh my god, I can't think of the name of the game, but yeah, those two I've been playing right now. It's another games I'm about to start pretty soon, but those are the three actually in my rotation at the moment. Deus Ex. That's the other one. Deus Ex, which I got to start. I started it and then I stopped, and now I'm about to start it up again. So those four are actually what's in my rotation at the moment.
All right. And what are you up to, James?
Well, frankly, Anchor, I don't think that's any of your business.
Fine.
No, I've been playing a bunch of indie games, mostly What Remains of Edith Finch, which is fastly becoming one of my favorite games of the year. I'm serious. It might even contend Resi 7 for number 1 right now. And we might have more on this game in the coming weeks.
Big to you?
Sorry?
Why is this big to you? Tell me. I'm interested. What's up with Edith Finch?
What Remains of Edith Finch? Well, I could probably go into the game. It's a game by the guys who made The Unfinished Swan, the company Giant Sparrow. And it's a walking simulator, sort of. But it's much more narrative focused than something like Firewatch, where everybody's gone to the rapture, but it still has that kind of aesthetic. So you play this girl Edith Finch, who's the last remaining member of the Finch family, and you're sent to your family home by your mother in her will. And you go through all of the rooms of all of the family members who, every time a family member dies, they board up the room so no one can ever go in. And there's tunnels leading you throughout the house. So it's a good way of the developers going, this is the route that we want you to take, but you still feel like you're exploring. And every single time you experience a different family member's a snapshot of their life, it's through a different gameplay mechanic. So one time it could be a horror movie in the guise of like a comic book, or one could be you taking pictures the whole time and you see it through a camera. The other could be you're a cat or something like that. It's so interesting and crazy and beautiful and life affirming, and I loved every moment of it.
Mm-hmm. All right. I might take a look at it a little later, but yeah, it definitely has. It's interesting. I only thought the first one would be a one-off, but all right, it's pretty cool. What would you, Mike? What you been playing?
So main thing I've been playing is Injustice 2. I just finished the campaign for that today, and like Fame said, it's a great campaign. I thought the story was great, and I think the ending they leave it open where they could take it in a couple different directions, depending upon which ending they consider the official ending of the game. I'm trying not to get too spoilery with it.
But you know what? Think about that. I need to go back and do the other side. I didn't think about that. You're right.
But it's a great game, so I'm going to start grinding on that on the multiverse mode and everything. I've also been playing Destiny. I've been getting back into that a little bit, playing the Crucible, and it's just as great as it was when it first came out. And I think the next game that I'm going to start this week is I'm going to start Limbo this week. And I've been playing the campaign in Modern Warfare Remastered.
All right. What about you, Jez?
Very quickly before we continue, I would just like to say something that I've just seen in the news. I would like to extend our thoughts and prayers to those who are in the Manchester area in England after an explosion has gone off in an Ariana Grande concert.
Yes. Yeah, I just saw that too. I was just looking at that. It's definitely a sad time, and there's also more sad news to come. We'll get that a little later in the show. But kind of getting past that real quick. Jez, what you been playing?
I've been playing Injustice 2, like Mike. It's been it's really I've been playing a lot of the multiverse of it. I think that is really a great creative mode that you could put in a fighter. That is really cool because it kind of just gives you unlimited possibilities and kind of a campaign, infinite possibilities of a campaign with all the modifiers and the little stories that they have within the different planets of the multiverse. So I've really been enjoying that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, I've been playing. I've been playing Injustice 2 as well. I've been having a good time. I've been messing around, namely with Scarecrow, Swamp Thing. Other than that, who's my other go-to? Having a good time with Gorilla Grodd. A lot of the villains I really enjoy playing as. I don't know why, but Bane. We play as Bane. That's also a good time as well. I'm more of a grappler kind of guy, but anyway. Moving on to other topics for the evening. We got so many we got to cover. We will just kind of blitz through them real quick, so you guys be prepared. We got so much to talk about. First things first, we have on the docket, Red Dead Redemption 2 has been delayed.
Called it.
Why is anybody surprised?
Wait a minute. Was there ever an actual date?
Yeah, they said fall 2017.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't expect for it to come out this year.
Spring 2018 is the official time now.
Yeah, I never expected for it to drop this year, so I'm not shocked at all.
Yeah, I mean, for me, as soon as they said fall 2017, I was like, nope, that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, I remember. Oh, what was it? As soon as it came out, everyone was like, "Oh, it's Game of the Year confirmed." No, it's not. Like, what are you talking about? It's gonna be great. It's like, yeah, in 2018. Yeah, no one believes you. Oh boy.
I think I hear Jay is trying to speak, but he sounds really muffled.
Am I okay? I'm changing my headphones.
All right. Yeah. One of your 20 pairs, Mr. Hardware.
What has this show descended into? This is some weird ASMR stuff going on right now.
All right.
What the hell's going on?
All right, so we got to move on a little bit. I don't know why people thought Red Dead was coming back. It's just so silly to me. Like, it's gonna be good. I mean, they showed some screenshots. I mean, it's just like, really. I don't know why people were surprised about this. I pity the fools who believed it was coming out in 2017. I actually pity them.
And you know what the bad thing is? It's coming out in spring of 2018, they're saying now. PC will probably get it in spring of 2019. So I feel bad for the PC dudes as far as that's concerned.
Ooh. Oh, I'm
Hello? Is this better?
There you go.
That's kind of weird.
It sounds weird now?
Yeah, you gotta tone it down, voice.
All right.
All right. So yeah, moving on. So let's James.
Yes.
What do you think of Red Dead? Were you even interested to begin with?
Oh no, I don't really like Red Dead Redemption. I played it, I just didn't really enjoy it. I just thought everyone said it was so good, so I played it and was a bit bored. You know what it was? It's because I played Assassin's Creed 2 right before I played Red Dead, and the idea of having this massive open world that wasn't filled with so much stuff, I didn't really get it at the time. I've gone back and played it, and it's still pretty good. I still don't get why everyone thinks it's this masterpiece. Then again, I don't really associate with Rockstar open world games like that. I don't really get GTA, so it's the wrong franchise for me.
Yeah, I kind of understand that actually. Like, I can't finish Red Dead. Every time we get to below the border, I basically lose interest. Like, it's not boring, but it's just like I'm no longer interested.
You're just like I just did. Every time I finish like a section, I go, oh, okay, it's the end. Oh no, there's like 3 more bits. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not my favorite thing. There were a couple I liked, like LA Noire. I liked that Rockstar game, and it was fun. I enjoyed it. So, but that's also just me. What about you, Fame? What you thinking about this?
I didn't see this game coming out this year at all. I have really no feelings about it because, like I said, it's something I expected. I didn't even know it even had a release date, a release area for this year. And then you guys said it was fall. I didn't even freaking know that. So I'm not shocked at all. And plus, I have no issue with games being delayed unless your games are really looking forward to. And it's not like this is, South Park, which is going to be game of the year being delayed. And that was huge. This is like, okay, I get it when it comes out. No rush for me. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat. I kind of don't care. Personally. But anyone else? Any other thoughts on Red Dead? Jez, got your mic in order? Maybe. Or not?
Riveting stuff.
All right, Mike, what about you? You care about this? Anything else to say?
The thing with me, I never played Red Dead. That was one of the games that I missed last gen. I just never got around to it. And I think for me, it's kind of like what James was saying. Like, I feel like I'm a little bit burnt out on this particular style of open world games. Like, I didn't really like GTA 4. I didn't really like GTA 5. Honestly, the only game that Rockstar's come out with out of their past few releases has been Max Payne 3. That game I thought was great, but it's really not on my radar, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I have this kind of thing of like, there's a certain expectation with certain people. Like, okay, Bethesda launches buggy games. That's just going to happen. Rockstar's going to delay something 3 times. It's just going to happen. So I would not be surprised if there's another delay into fall 2018. Yeah, so I would not be surprised. We thought Rockstar was actually going to grow up. All right. Anyway, unless Jez is going to say something about this, speak now or forever hold your peace, Jez.
Oh, there we go.
Because he's not speaking. All right. Anyway, moving on to other topics for the evening. Briefly, some entertainment news. I want to talk about the new casting for the Venom movie, briefly.
Yes.
So, they have announced that Tom Hardy, of all people, will be playing Eddie Brock in the new Venom movie.
Because he needs the work.
Yes, because he needs the work.
That's a low blow.
No, it's not. It's a joke. Because he's like always like in stuff.
So, who cares about this?
I mean, I think it's great. And I know a lot of people, when they heard Tom Hardy as Venom, first thing they automatically think of is when he played Bane in The Dark Knight Rises, which I thought he did a good job in. But if you think about the Venom comics and you think about Eddie Brock, I think he's a good fit for that role. Because if you ever saw The Drop, interestingly, the thing about The Drop, it was actually the last movie that James Gandolfini had an appearance in. It was a great movie if you haven't seen it. But he played kind of like a rough and tumble character in that movie, and I think that he can pull that off with Eddie Brock, because in the comics, Eddie Brock is kind of like a rough around the edges type of character. So I mean, I'm excited to see what he could do with the role. Venom's already my favorite comic book character, so this is probably going to be my favorite movie in next year anyway, unless it's a massive letdown.
Who is this?
I have arrived.
Oh, God, no!
You can start the podcast now. I am here.
What kind of universal collide is this? Who is this man?
It is the
This is Monday, not Sunday.
It is the invasion.
Hey everybody, welcome to Stinger NLG from Next Level Gaming, the original Next Level Gaming.
What's happening, everybody? What's going on?
What's up, Mike?
Not much. How's everybody doing?
Yeah, doing pretty good. Trying to get Justin's bike worked out.
What did I miss?
Not too much. We're talking about Tom Hardy for a bit being Venom.
Yeah. I'm going to play Venom now. I'm only going to change my character. We get to snap anybody's back in this movie.
It was only a matter of time before someone made this voice.
Right. I want a cheeseburger with fries.
No, the trick is if you like make ninja hands, and then do a Sean Connery impression into your hands. You got to sound like this.
Oh,
And then, and that's how you do it.
well met. Very nice. Very nice.
If so, Tom Hardy. I don't really care who acts in films as long as the writing is good. And when they announce who's writing it and directing it, then I'll get excited about a film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm personally kind of in the middle on this. I like Tom Hardy's good, but I feel like someone else could do a better job. But at the same time, I can't think of anybody else.
I'm about to ask you. So, who would you have wanted to do? I think it's a good selection.
See, that's the thing, though. Like, I feel like there's somebody who could do Eddie Brock better, but I just can't think of anybody else right now.
Rami Malek, Mr. Robot.
Ooh.
Nah, Eddie Brock's got to be like, I don't know. Eddie Brock was more of like the dumb jock kind of thing, with like a victim complex. So
Yeah, Rami Malek does dumb really well. No, I mean I mean that sincerely. I'm not saying he's dumb because he's not. He's a really cool, intelligent dude who speaks 3 different languages, but he can play dumb well.
Okay.
See, this is the thing. The one flaw about this movie, though, is going to be it's not a part of the MCU.
Well, who's making it?
Sony. And they can't have Spider-Man in the movie. If they do, it's not Tom Holland.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is the eternal stupidity circle.
This is where the space-time continuum just implodes on itself. I don't understand that. Well, no, that's not true. Well, I could understand an issue with Fox. I don't understand why Disney wouldn't.
R-rated movie.
Yeah, but so remind me, is this Spider-Man moved away from Sony and into Disney?
All right, so here's the basic breakdown of the whole thing, because this is relevant later to the plot. The issue was Sony had a deal with I almost said Microsoft, Disney. So Sony had a deal with Disney that they would put Spider-Man in the MCU for several little favors.
Right.
One of which would be that MCU characters could be in the Spider-Man movies, which are going to be produced by Sony. So, like, then in Spider-Man Homecoming, it is a Sony-made movie, but Marvel, or specifically Kevin Feige, has creative control because they have all the MCU characters in there. And one of the things in particular is that Disney does not do R-rated movies. They will not do it. Neither them nor their subsidiaries will do an R-rated movie. They don't touch it. And so Sony, and I see it as this. Sony knows this is a short-term deal with Spider-Man. It goes through Avengers Infinity War. And what their plan is they want to renegotiate at that time to either sell Spider-Man or renegotiate the deal for a short-term deal for even more money. And the only way you can do that is you have to prove that the Spider-Man franchise is worth more money than before, and you can't do it because of what Disney gave you in terms of value. So they're making all these sub-little movies like Venom, Black Cat, and Silver Sable from the Spider-Man IP to build up the Spider-Man franchise to make more money, so when they go back to the table, to the negotiations, they have something to bargain with, saying, look, we're worth more. We didn't need you, Disney. You got to pay us more money now.
I just don't care.
There is that.
Yeah. So that's the gist behind that. I kind of don't care about Tom Hardy, but I kind of do. Like I said, if someone else comes to mind, I'll throw that out there.
But here's the thing. Can you make a Venom film without Spider-Man?
I don't. Well, you could. But
he had a couple good storylines of his own in the comics. I mean, there was the madness, not the madness. Lethal Protector was, I think, the one he was best known for. And And
But isn't
Spider
that
Man was
after they had already like introduced him as a through Spider-Man.
Yep.
they
'Cause
have that's the whole thing. And Spider-Man was in that. He wasn't a big part in that, but he was in it. The other one that comes to mind, if you look back at the comics, was the Madness storyline, which is where he gets into a fight with Juggernaut. He basically gets pushed into this like toxic virus, and Eddie Brock goes insane. Is basically the storyline, and he's battling these 3 different personalities in his mind. But it's got to be some type of an origin story, and I don't know how you do it without Spider-Man. You're right.
Actually,
Well, and I don't know how you would do it if he can't fight Juggernaut because
Right.
Because he's the Juggernaut, bitch.
right, and that's Fox, so that's not happening.
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, you can adapt things. It's definitely possible. I mean, they did Logan. They adapted Old Man Logan to the point where it barely resembles Old Man Logan, but it was still good at the same time. So hey, it works. But I had a thought of how they could pull it off. You start off the movie with like you show off like Eddie Brock's bad day. You show off him having the worst day of his life. He goes into the church to pray, and it comes down, and the symbiote attaches to him. But instead of Spider-Man being the villain, who's the one person Venom hates more than Spider-Man?
Carnage.
Carnage.
Exactly.
Cletus Cassidy, yeah.
And he hates Carnage more than anybody else. And so there you go. That you make the movie about him fighting Carnage. And that would be the only way you could pull off that kind of movie. They basically you completely eliminate Spider-Man from the story arc. You make the symbiote focus more on his spawn. Say, I'm looking for a new host because I was in a bad relationship with somebody else. We had to break up.
Yeah, I hope they don't go the route of like the symbiote attaching to other things and he fighting like other symbiotes, like sort of like a virus that goes around.
Yeah.
That was basically Lethal Protector, more or less.
Yeah, you could do something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, there's potential, but again,
Carnage would be good.
without Spider-Man, it's just weird.
Yeah. I mean, there were some cartoons where he kind of, showed up next to Hulk and Shield and, fighting them. I think my kid watches Ultimate Spider-Man and stuff like that. Wasn't it once? Didn't he fight Iron Patriot once? I want to say there was something like that.
Will the casuals care? Do the casuals even know
Who Iron Patriot is?
No, Venom.
Venom is?
Well,
Yeah,
casuals, casuals, everybody knows Spider-Man. Oh, Spider-Man. So I'm gonna go. Even though I don't ever watch the cartoon.
I think they do because of Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, casuals are aware of Venom, but I mean, keep in mind when it comes to when the Spider-Man like pantheon, there's like really the 2, maybe 3 big villains. What one's always going to be Green Goblin. That's always just going to happen, and the other one's Venom. So I mean, like that's it. Like there's you can maybe argue Doc Ock. Doc Ock's pretty cool, but in terms of popularity, it's always been Green Goblin and Venom.
So you think they'll tease Venom at the end of the Spider-Man Homecoming? Or is it different?
I don't know. I don't know.
No, they won't do that.
Probably not, but it's possible. Who knows?
Why the hell not?
I would.
Well, because it's not a part of the MCU technically.
Yeah.
That's true. I'm tripping.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I didn't know if they're gonna do it or not.
Man, this is kind of sparks the debate. And I don't see Spider-Man being inside the MCU much longer. I think Sony's they're gonna get their own universe started. I think Venom is the start of it. I don't see Spider-Man with MCU much longer at all. I just don't see it. I don't see it working out too much. I think Sony wants to do their own thing with their own universe. They have an assortment of different characters. I don't see Spider-Man being there past the next movie or so. He's pulled back out. Definitely.
Well, when it comes to weird universe building, you guys seen that new Monsters universe, the Dark Universe with the Mummy and all the stuff coming out?
Yeah, what is that crap?
It's called it is called the Dark Universe. That is actually its name.
It is called. Can you just stop remaking movies?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Universal
Tom
wanting to
Cruise
redo their monster movies, so that's really what it is.
You know what? I'm interested to see Javier Bardem as Frankenstein's monster. Actually, as I said that, I'm reminding myself of Pirates of the Caribbean 5, and I want to retract my previous statement. I can talk about that now because the reviews have come out. Oh, Pirates of the Caribbean 5 is the worst film I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, come on.
Even worse than
I
the
mean,
previous one?
I mean that. I
The
mean
previous
that.
one was horrific too.
This is the worst film that I have ever seen in my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I like
All
me
right.
some pirates. but
Straight
wow.
up. I could go into full detail, but we don't have time.
We really don't. We don't have time to explain what we don't have time to explain. Also, briefly talking about movies, Uncharted is getting a movie, and they have cast Nathan Drake, and it's going to be Tom Holland, Spider-Man.
So they're going to do young Nathan Drake origin film. I love that idea.
It's a prequel,
The beginning of Uncharted 4.
Uncharted 3.
4. I'm talking about there were scenes in 4 where he was
Very
where they
true.
had young Nathan Drake.
But they also had stuff in 3 when he met Sully for the first time. And
This is true.
I reckon they'll do that.
Well,
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like it's franchise mixing. Like, you already have him as Spider-Man. Like, why you can find literally anybody else would do this. Cheaper.
Yeah, but do you know many other people that are around that right age who are really good gymnasts who can do the climbing?
I'm sure there's plenty of unknown people who could do it cheaper.
Yeah, but you want to get that money, man.
But he's not the whole movie though, from my understanding. He's only scenes.
Oh really? Oh, I thought it was going to be a young
I
Nathan
don't
Drake
think
film.
they're doing a whole movie based on him.
I should have gotten Jake Gyllenhaal. You know, he did such a good job with Prince of Persia.
I still have that on Blu-ray. I never opened up the box.
Hey, all right.
It's not a horrible movie.
That is the
not a-
one bad film Jake Gyllenhaal has ever made. He's a really,
And it
really good
wasn't
actor.
and it wasn't even that bad.
Even the boy in
honestly.
the bubble. The boy in the bubble.
Oh, Bubble Boy was fantastic. Are you kidding me? It was one of the funniest movies I've ever seen.
It was very funny.
It was
I liked
awesome.
it.
No, I honestly didn't think Prince of Persia was that bad, to be quite honest with you. As an action movie goes, it was quite passable.
I've still not seen it this day.
It's not horrible. In fact, I thought over Michael Fassbender, he should have been, I guess Ezio or whoever was the assassin in Assassin's Creed.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we got to move on. We still have so many topics to cover. We're 30 minutes in. We've barely scratched the surface. we go through this stuff. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. The Lawbreakers issue. So, those of you that don't know, Cliffy B has been working on this game called Lawbreakers. It is basically, if I had to explain it, Overwatch meets Titanfall. Except no mechs.
So Overwatch meets Call of Duty.
There's a lot of zero gravity fighting in it.
Yeah, like there's gravity issues. Like you have like these little like you have whips, not whips, but like what's the term?
Grapple things, yeah.
It's all about mobility. That's really all it's about. It looks like a good game. I'm not feeling it personally. I have not felt it for years at this point. But I mean, it looks pretty good. I'm just personally am not feeling it. But I don't personally feel a lot of games. So, but that's me. But the news has come out. It was teased last night, but the news has come out that Lawbreakers will be coming to PlayStation 4. Now, normally we wouldn't even talk about this because this is really such a non-issue. But we're only talking about it because people are flipping out. So, emotions are ranging from, oh, it's exclusive, screw you, Sony, screw you, Cliffy B. Why would you betray us? No. To, aha, it's an exclusive, screw you. It's all over the place, guys. And I just kind of want to get your vibe on this.
It's like, is this really what we're doing? That we're going to use Lawbreakers to fight a console war? Is this really what we're gonna do? And the funny thing is, a lot of people that are using this to fight to fight the whole list war, console war thing, it probably wasn't even on their radar to begin with. That's what I think is the funny thing about it.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I don't care either. I think the game looked terrible when it first got unveiled in 2015. So
Yeah, Mike's got the receipts to prove it. He's got. You showed me that tweet from 2015 calling it out. Like, wow.
Yeah, this game's been in like development for a while, and Cliffy B was doing it just for PC. Now, my whole opinion on it, and hope I'm coming in clear for this, because it's not necessarily the game and like what it is. It's just the complete like disregard for bringing it to Xbox and not having, this whole sell of UWP and this PC and bringing it to Xbox, and it's easy. I ported it over in a day. Like, it should be easy for developers of PC to bring stuff over to Xbox. This is blatantly just disregarding Xbox and going to PlayStation 4. And I went back and looked at articles about it, and when they asked Cliffy B about bringing this to consoles, he said you have to talk to Microsoft and Sony about it. And obviously we see who was interested in this type of game, which that's my concern, is that these are the type of games that Xbox 360 gen would scoop up and put it on the console. With the success of Overwatch and with these multiplayer shooters, how could you not bring this to your Xbox Live audience? Cross-play, who cares about cross-buy, but just bring it to your audience. And the fact that it's been disregarded, this type of game, and Sony scooped it up, shows that Sony has an interest in bringing this to their audience and Xbox does not. And that's what my concern is because they charge Xbox Live, they want you to play online and be engaged, but they're not bringing these type of multiplayer games to over the console. And PlayStation was successful with Rocket League. They identified Rocket League as a game to give for free, and look how that blew up. That was a multiplayer game that blew up on their platform. They seem to be identifying or being in the know for their gamers on PlayStation than what I feel like what Xbox is doing. And that's where my kind of concern is stemming from. I just hope Xbox is identifying games that their audience would like and bring it to their platform, and not just beg developers to say, hey, please bring it over here, guys, we exist. And that's where my concern is with it. And not necessarily the game or like what it is, but it's really just, I don't know where the outlook is of where Xbox is bringing its games to where PlayStation is.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Mike?
I'm going to build on that because I honestly don't know what in the world is going on at Microsoft these days. People are not gonna like this, but this represents a legitimate problem that Microsoft has that they need to figure out fast, because there's two things at play here. The game might suck. It might. We don't, it's not finished yet. It's been in betas. It might suck. However, there are two pieces of optics here that people are missing. Number one, the fact that Cliff Bleszinski, who was arguably one of the cornerstones of Xbox development for a long time, chose not to bring his game to the very platform that made him, let's be honest, what made him who he is today. There wouldn't be a Boss Key without Gears. That's just the bottom line.
Unreal wasn't his calling; it was Gears. That was
right, exactly. If without Gears, without him standing up on E3 stage with a chainsaw gun in his hand, you don't know who Cliff Bleszinski even is. So now you have the guy behind Gears of War, arguably one of the bedrocks of Xbox development, Xbox games, and his marquee game is missing that platform. And on top of that, it's one more game Microsoft doesn't get to show at E3. Already, they're not going to be able to show you. Now that Red Dead is into spring, but even at that, they can't show you any of the blockbuster games that are coming out this fall and next spring because they have no marketing for them. And the only game I'm aware of that they've got marketing for that they're going to show off is going to be Shadow of War. So now Here's another game that you can't even show on your platform or on your stage because it's not even coming to your platform. So what's left? Unless Microsoft has 15 brand new unannounced IPs and games that they're just holding to their chest, and they're going to rip them out one at a time and fill 90 minutes worth of, oh my God, here's a new game. Oh my God, here's a new game. Oh my God, here's a new game. They're running out of games to show, and so now they've got an image problem, and it's an image problem that continues to this day. Cancellation of Scalebound, cancellation of Fable. They didn't get Persona, which is the second highest rated, second highest selling game of April. They don't get Nier. They don't get Neo. They're now starting to not get games. That's a problem, and somebody's got to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the big picture. That's the thing. It's not necessarily this game and, if it's good or bad. It's really the big picture of Microsoft since the Scalebound cancellation has been there's some good feature announcements, but I'm getting concerned with where their image is going, and I'm praying that E3 reveals it. But, just one thing before everybody else goes, that I went back and listened to Phil Spencer back on the IGN podcast where he was kind of in March 1st. I think it was like 285. And he kind of said the thing, for those gamers that think I have this big AAA exclusive in my back pocket that I'm going to announce at E3, and they're like, oh, maybe you do. And he's like joking about it. He was kind of continuing that I don't have this. It's going to be this kind of overwhelming plethora of things that are going to show what the Scorpio's power is. And he's not going to have this one big, like all these blockbuster games coming out left and right at E3. It does not sound like that. And that as we get closer to E3 and hear these other news where these other announcements are coming for Sony and the marketing and their name is all over the place on everything and Xbox can't show it. Aaron Greenberg on Twitter is going to be like, I can't wait to play it on 4K, on Scorpio. Or Major Nelson posted on Destiny 2 when they were showing the PlayStation, the 4 Destiny 2 console. He puts up his Xbox Elite controller and puts it under the Destiny 2. Can't wait to play it on the best controller ever made. And tweets that out. I'm like, that's not what is that, guys. That's like, get in touch. Let's go. Like, that's not marketing.
Yeah.
No, because that's such a small reach.
Yeah.
Whereas if you look at what's going to happen starting in the fall, every TV ad, every image you see when you walk into a store, every image you see when you're looking at billboards, what have you, it's all Sony. It's going to be all Sony. All Sony Battlefront, or Battlefront 2 rather, all Sony Call of Duty World of War, all Sony Destiny 2,
Marvel versus Capcom.
Marvel. Well, yeah, but that's
big. I think it's a big fighting game. Man.
I don't know if it's going to be as big as people think. I mean, we're starting to get a little flooded with fighting games at the moment. I don't know that's going to. We'll see.
Also.
We'll see.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. And I'm so glad you brought this up, Mike. What Microsoft needs to be worried about now, and this is coming from somebody that's a fan of Xbox that games primarily on Xbox.
Same here. Yep.
They need to be worried about, not now, because this generation is over. Sony won. There's no coming back from that. They need to be worried about what the future is and next gen. And this is what they have to be setting themselves up for. So when you guys talk about things like image and then losing games and things like that, that's a concern because they're coming out with Scorpio, which is great, rectifies a lot of the hardware shortcomings of the current Xbox One. But they need those games to come out. And this year is going to be the year. We've talked about this on here before. When we first start to see this is going to be the fruits of Phil's labor since he took over, is going to be this year. And if he doesn't deliver this year and he doesn't deliver at E3 starting this year, Xbox is going to lose next gen too, because Sony's just going to carry that momentum over. So they got to do something as far as this concerned. So
and this is all barring some crazy unexpected thing that happens, like which is prone to happen in this industry.
True.
Something just blows everything out of the water.
But Shadow of War isn't going to get it done.
Yeah,
no.
No. So here's the thing. I look at the Lawbreakers thing as I see you guys where you guys are coming from, as it's a symptom of a larger problem. but the games that aren't coming to Xbox specifically are games that I never expected to come to Xbox in the first place. Where it's kind of like, yeah, a lot of the Japanese games aren't coming to Xbox, but they probably weren't coming to Xbox anyway. They didn't come last time either. And that was back when 360 was dominant as well. I mean, that's also just my perspective on that. Now, the thing with Lawbreakers, it's not even confirmed that it's like an official exclusive deal per se. They're just saying right now it's coming to PlayStation. And like Cliffy B has been very open about, yeah, it may come to other consoles later. This is not like some lockdown deal where it's like, yeah, it's never coming anywhere else. But it's like, yeah, it's timed. But keep in mind, Cliffy B, they have a 65-person studio. And he's made that very, very, very clear. Like, they do not have the funds to be working on several different versions at one time.
Yeah, he said that will have to be ported over if they want to bring it to console. Like, his studio can't do it. They're focusing on the PC version.
Right. So now he's porting it over.
So, yeah, but now he's porting it over. But I think that has to do with I don't want to call it lack of support from PC per se, but maybe lack of enthusiasm. Because like nobody talked about Lawbreakers unless it was Cliffy B pumping it up.
Yeah,
I never saw anybody actually say, "Oh wow, I can't wait to play Lawbreakers."
It was at PAX for the last 2 years, a huge booth, PAX East, and it was mobbed. Like you think the game was out already? The way the people lined up, you cannot. And Cliffy B wasn't there this year. Last year he was there signing autographs, but it was mobbed. Like it and people, it was like all roads up with tournaments. It looked like it was like full blown competition ready to go, and there was lines out. There was lines completely. It was blocked off every day. So there is some hype to it. That's Cliffy B's next first person shooter and his next game. But there is a following on the PC for this. Just the beta alone, from the interest I saw at PAX, like that thing was for 2 years in a row. It was hard. You couldn't get on. Like it was a long wait. So I don't know if that transcends to consoles. Like I wasn't super interested in it. And it was supposed to be free to play, and now it's like $30. But still, it's just when you say like those Japanese games not coming to Xbox, I agree. Yeah, I wasn't expecting those to come. But the thing is that the that type of game, how could that not go to Xbox? Why isn't Aaron Greenberg on the phone trying to get that to be on the platform? That's where I'm like, I don't know if they did or not. And it's just, it worries me of them identifying games. How can they not get Rocket League to be put on that? How did they not see that game has potential on Xbox Live and not getting those games and Sony's getting them first? What are they focusing on? Sea of Thieves, those type like Quantum Break, Recore, they don't even support those games with DLC. They kind of just did them one and done. And
Recore's coming. Recore's got stuff coming.
It does it. Well, yeah, like a remastered version of it, right?
No, I heard there were new cores and stuff coming out.
Yeah, they're adding to that game.
Well, they should add to all they should have some plan. It's very like I don't know where their foresight is with it, and hopefully E3 he lays the plan down because I'm sick of talking about teraflops and RAMs and crap and all that crap because that stuff does not transcend. Look at the Destiny. 30 frames per second. Oh, PS4 can't handle it. What do we like? The thing is that if these systems have to be held to have no parity across the board, we're not going to see the power all the spec wars. And because when it comes down to it, the developer chooses, and they're going to want to have their equal on all platforms. Maybe you get some better fidelity.
That brings us into our other topic for the evening, Destiny 2. So Destiny 2 had its official gameplay reveal earlier this week, last week technically, and from what I gather, it was kind of mixed reactions. A lot of people were really excited, and a lot of people were like, "This is Destiny 1.5." Like it was kind of all over the place in terms of reactions. Briefly, before we get into like the quote unquote controversy, what do you guys think about Destiny 2? You gonna buy it? Yes, no, maybe so.
Yeah, I'm probably going to pick it up. And my thing is, to the people that were saying, "Oh, it's just Destiny 1.5," what exactly were you expecting? Like, honestly, well, what were you expecting if you're saying it's Destiny 1.5? Now, they made a lot of changes to where I think they could have implemented these changes in Destiny 1. And I think that's what a lot of people are getting pissed off over. Like this whole new thing that they're doing with the raids. I've only ever did one raid just because it's hard to find a group of people that to get together with and do a raid with. They could have done this in Destiny 1. Oh, you could launch straight into stuff without going into orbit. They could have did that now with Destiny 1, but these are good quality of life things. I just hope that they don't do the crap that they did with the DLC, because what they did with the DLC was they really screwed you over if you bought the game when it first came out. So I'm going to get it eventually. When it first comes out, I don't know. It remains to be seen.
Yeah. All right. What about you, James?
I don't care.
That's 2.
Didn't care about Destiny the first time round. Don't care again. You can all carry on and do whatever you want, but I'm good.
All right.
It's one less game for me to worry about.
Where are you sitting on this, Jazz?
I don't care either. I did not buy Destiny 1. I felt dirty. I felt like I was playing a reskinned Halo 4. And I saw the brutes. I saw, all the sniper guys. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like that DLC crap that they're doing with it. And the fact that they come out and go, oh, hey, Destiny 2, we're going to have new raids. It's a sequel. Better have new raids. Like, what the hell are you talking about? It's a new game. And, I just do not like their rollout. And they smell very fishy. Bungie really is just, I don't know. I just don't. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like the grind either. I thought the mission structures were boring. Babysit that robot. It was not fun.
Yeah, they were kind of repetitive, honestly.
Really repetitive.
It was horrible. Like, it was like, oh, here come 30 enemies. And the thing is that if your friends level up, this is the same problem with Borderlands. Is like, if you're not there every night with your friends and your friends become a level 30 and you miss a week and you're level 15, it sucks. It's not fun.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, the Division was the same way.
The same way, yeah. You missed a week while your friends played. Now you're like not even doing any damage to the guys.
Yep. Now you're getting your ass shot off in no time.
Yep. And that's the problem with those games. So I'm not a fan of that. The Destiny, I don't. They could keep it.
Yeah. What about you, Stinger?
Well, not to make a quick plug, but we discussed this last night on the NLG podcast in a little more depth than what I'm about to say now. I'm actually with Jez and James as I don't care about the game itself because I remember playing the Destiny beta and then thinking that I had played the whole game, and up until Rise of Iron I was right. But I find that it's funny to me that I still feel like, and I said this last night, I said, if you, what's Nathan Fillion's character's name in the game?
Cade 6.
I'm sorry?
Cade 6.
Cade 6. It shows you how much I know about the game, about Destiny. If you replaced Cade 6 with the Arbiter, and you replaced any of those other characters with Master Chief, you had the Halo 6 trailer, down to how those guns reacted on the enemies, to now you've got a ground pound attack. You basically it still stuns me that people don't see that Bungie wanted to get out of Microsoft because they wanted to stop making Halo, only to go over to Activision and make Halo. And
Exactly.
And I don't understand how people don't. There are some people that have fought me on that. And I'm like, how do you not see it? If you watch that trailer for Destiny 2, tell me that doesn't look like you could easily have just put Halo on there.
It's totally Halo.
It down to the art style.
Yes.
And that's okay. I mean, that's fine if that's what Bungie does. They've got the assets. They've got they do what's familiar. The game, I don't know. It has very little interest for me, other than maybe if there's a decent story to it, I might check it out. But as it stands right now, I would. There are 100 different games right now for me to play that I would, that I've got to get through over that.
I'm allowed to like it, okay?
Stop damage control.
Hey man, love it.
Stop
Teach his
damage.
own.
I'm allowed to white knight Destiny, okay?
Stop damage
I
controlling.
still don't understand what the hell light armor is and crap.
But I mean, even like the grunts, they look like the same
The
grunt.
brutes were there. I saw the guy. I was
Right.
like, oh, he's
And
gonna
if
do
you
that.
shoot them, their little shield like blows up for a second, and then you can kill them. I mean, it is almost, some of that stuff is almost identical.
Yep, the brutes are in it too.
So stop damage controlling, Mike. So
Yeah, man. I don't know. I look at Destiny 2, and to me, it does look like more of the same. Like, I'm not. The thing about a sequel is it's very dangerous territory because you don't want to change too much about the game to the point where you're alienating the fan base you have. But at the same time, you got to change something. You got to make it better. Like, okay, here's the example. Using Bungie again, Halo. They really didn't change all that much between Halo 1 and 3. Like, there are some, like, dual wielding, which they toyed with, they went back on, and then it's like, okay, we're going to go back and
Hijacking
forth.
vehicles. They did that.
Yeah, they did a little bit of vehicle stuff, but, like, the whole point of a sequel is you're supposed to refine what you have and make it better. The sequel should be better than the original in every way possible. And what they've shown so far is probably not the best stuff to show off. Now, it is just more of a, like, here's what the game looks like kind of thing. They're not showing you in depth of what things look like. But one of the things I keep talking about is the constant factor that Activision does not want to put any real money on this game. And besides the initial investment. All they're gonna do is, hey, here's your $50 million budget, go make the game, whatever. But we're not touching it after that. You better be pumping out that DLC right afterwards, because they're not gonna put any real effort into, like, making a game 60 FPS, which is a shame for any first-person shooter, especially one with multiplayer in this day and age. To not have 60 FPS is a travesty. It's not the console's fault. All these base hardware consoles can run 60 FPS. Battlefield 1 is 60 FPS.
It's
Battlefield 4 is 60 FPS.
It's the Halo whole engine.
And Battlefield has vehicles and destructibility and all this stuff going on. 64-person lobbies.
but it doesn't have the Destiny physics.
Oh, God.
And the monster closets.
Like Titanfall exists with all the AI and all the stuff going on, and it's like but they can still hit 60 FPS, and all those games have dedicated servers.
What the hell is up with that?
Still doesn't have dedicated servers. Call of Duty still doesn't have dedicated servers. This is a travesty. And it's like, come on. And not just that. See, all those things are like relative deal breakers to me, but I can still be sold on a game. And the one thing that is the only thing that is holding me off from saying blatant no is how bad the Sony deal is going to be. Because if they do this whole thing like it was last year, where it's a year or more, like they did with Taken King, there was content that was supposed to come out last year from Taken King available on Xbox, which they said, no, give it another year. We get another year of exclusivity for no reason. And they're going to do it again. If they do this again for this game, and we know they're going to do something bad. But if it's like a gun, I don't care about a gun. If it's a Crucible map, I don't care.
It's another planet.
If it's another planet, if it's another
Sony planet,
if it's like a strike or something, they're going too far. It was never this bad with the Xbox deals. It was never this bad last generation. At most, you had to wait a month for DLC. But now, the base game itself, you're going to have to wait a year for content.
They're paying, man. It adds to the big problem. What's going on?
Yeah.
If they do that again, that's a no-buy for me. I can't do it.
Let me ask you guys this. The word is Call of Duty is up after this year. You think Microsoft goes after it again?
Nope.
Not with Phil
franchise.
Spencer under the helm. Nope.
Nah, I don't think so.
He don't want to do it. He don't believe in that stuff. But I think he needs to see what's going on. Like it matters. It doesn't matter on the one-off. Like that was the thing. Like I was telling one of my friends, like I was like, if you just tell me one game is a third-party deal, but when it's every friggin' game,
that's the problem.
It adds up. It's like it is a complete tsunami of just like where to buy your games, and then on top of that, they go 1080p and 900p. It's like, oh well, that's just a cherry on top. Like what else are you gonna do? And and one thing that does, and one last thing is that Phil talks about Scorpio is that the best place to play third party. How when you can't show third party?
Yep,
I don't get it.
Yeah,
you would think he would scoop up third party deals to make it shown best on his console, but meanwhile Sony has them all, and it's like, all right, well, play on our console, tweet. Like,
and it's not even that they can't show it. It's that. Yeah, it might look a little bit better on Scorpio, but for a lot of people, that's not going to matter because they're going to be playing a lot of the content first on PlayStation.
I know, they're hitting all cylinders. Yep.
So,
yep. And the content's not. I mean, I don't know that
a month is fine.
A month, yeah.
Destiny one was rough. It was like a raid or something for a year.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's easy to say, oh, a month. But think about something like Call of Duty, where you have a huge community and it's on YouTube and there's esports and things like that.
That's
Yeah, yep. People bought PlayStations just for that game because it gets the content first. So I'm not impatient. I could wait a month, but there are people out there, gamers, where that month is important to them.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like I people who want to be on the cutting edge of something, I got no problem. You go play what you want to play. It's just there's a certain point where it's really anti-consumer to the end, and this is where. And Xbox guys are guilty of this last generation. We were fine with the whole month thing. We didn't care, and to an extent, I don't really care either. But I still don't care because it was DLC, and I wasn't buying DLC anyway.
It's only anti-consumer if you charge them the same price and never give it to them. It's not. This is literally the spoils of war. This is not. This is what happens when you aren't aggressive. There are many other things that are anti-consumer. This is almost self-inflicted.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we need to caution on the anti-consumer thing. Now, if they charged, which I don't know if this happened with Destiny 1 or not, but if you were charged the exact same price for the DLC and you didn't get the same DLC, then I could, ever, not just in a year, but ever, then I can see that. This is what happens when you lose a marketing deal. This is just simply, it's the same. And I said this on Sunday night, and it's going to ruffle some feathers. And I'm sorry, but this is reality. Since we're talking about Scorpio and any kind of perceived thing, that you can't. You can't escape the fact that there was a whole lot of discussion about how what Scorpio could do with Destiny 2. I hate to tell you guys, it's not going to be 60 frames per second, and it has nothing to do with whether or not the Scorpio can do it or not.
Yeah,
I'm just telling you right now.
Yeah.
They
threw it back on the devs too. Like all the Mike Ybarra, and even Channel Office was like. And Phil Spencer, I think, even said like the devs choose to do this, and Channel Office said I would never see a dev that will put it 60 on one console and 30 on another. But meanwhile, they throw it on PC, and you can play it at any frame rate you want. So why is the console any different?
Yep, and I'm telling you right now that, this is just my feeling. I'm sure it wasn't mandated. I am sure that Sony is not forcing this, but I am quite sure that Sony went to Bungie and said, we're paying you a lot of money to market your game. We can't have the competition run at twice the frame rate as ours. Resolution is one thing. Well, let me finish because real quick. Resolution is one thing because resolution doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Frame rate's a whole different monster. Frame rate is a differentiator in a way that resolution cannot be.
Mhm.
And there is no way in hell, no way on that. And if I'm the one with the marketing rights, I would feel the same exact way. There is no way I am going to want the competitor's platform to run at twice the frame rate as my game. I'm just saying.
You know what I think it is? I think you're onto something, but I think this goes back to Destiny 1 more than anything else. I think it happened starting then, where it was Bungie was presented with the choice of, okay, do we go lower resolution, higher frame rate, or or higher resolution, lower frame rate? And they were presented with that choice. And because keep in mind, back in 2014, Sony was very bullish about everything's going to be 1080p, no matter what. We don't care. Make it 1080p. Like every game, I think the only game that wasn't back in 2014 was Watch Dogs, because that was a whole big fiasco. Remember? Because they came out and announced, oh, it's 1080p, 60 FPS, and they said, oh wait, never mind, it's 900p, 30 FPS. It was like, I remember that mess up, but that was a listing on the Sony site, but that was different. But they were very bullish about 1080p. Everything's gonna be 1080p, and I feel like what they did is they went to Bungie and said we want it to be 1080p at all costs, and so they said, well, okay, we'll set up that way, and they weren't gonna let Xbox go for the 60 FPS option and like lower the frame rate and do that, because I mean on the Xbox it's 1080p as well, if I remember. That's one of the few games in 2014 that came out was 1080p, and that one, and I think they made that decision and then extended into this year as well. And with Destiny 2, they were presented with the option, okay, do we do 60 FPS or 1080p? And they said, no, we're going to do 1080p. We're going to do 30 FPS across the board. And when they realized that they couldn't do 4K 60 on the Pro, and Sony wasn't going to let it be not 4K. Now, I think it's actually, I don't think it's confirmed native per se right now.
Dynamic.
Yeah, it's not going to be 1080p though. That's not going to happen.
It's not going to be 1080p.
And so they were going to put that. They were going to make sure the resolution was higher, and they were going to cap that frame rate, make sure it was solid, and they're going to do the same thing. And like Mike was saying earlier, they're going to do the same exact thing where they're going to say, even not even thinking about the Xbox One and the PS4, just talking Pro and Scorpio, they got the marketing rights on PlayStation Pro. They're not going to let the Scorpio get 4K 60. It's not going to happen. They're not going to let it.
And I don't even think it has anything to do with 4K itself. It's not. They are not going to let that. Like, again, nobody, because really you're not going to see the difference between,
no, they'll put it in resolution. You're right. Like resolution is not a big deal. So Microsoft will run around, say it's a native 4K. Sony will say it's dynamic 4K, and nobody talks about. You can't say we run the game faster, frames per second on our system.
Not double.
No,
you just can't do it.
Can't. And then the PC version is being delayed too, which is like the PC version is not day and date. So, and is the PC and the PS4 have the cross save?
No.
That's not confirmed. Okay, yeah, because people will say
there's no cross save.
All right, good. That's what I'm just saying, because it was so weird how like they would get that cross save for that. This is so weird. Like that's the thing that gets me. It's like Microsoft. Every I watched build, they're talking about all this wonderful world of PC development and porting it over. And when they talked about Scorpio, how you just put it in a little shell and it comes up on so easy. We did it in 12 hours. Look at this, and it's like. Are you trying to sell this to the developers because nobody's buying what you're selling? Because I don't like, even with cross-buy and like the Windows Store is decimate. Like it is a barren wasteland. And I don't know if there's a lot of interest in it from third party to do it. And I just don't understand. They sell this as so easy, but meanwhile, we're not seeing this. Cross saves in Destiny, nothing. You buy it in Windows Store, you can't play the Steam people. So like when it's on PC, and this goes on a whole other side thing, but when it's on PC, there's still that confusion that they had with the Xbox One launch where it's on PC, but it's not on Windows 10 Store. It's so like there's so many confusing elements with Microsoft, with what they're trying to do, where they're putting Windows 10 on the Scorpio crap. I just want to see the benefits of it because all I see is confusion and just hit or miss. Like, this is a cross save, this is a cross buy, and it just seems very kind of, it's so confusing where Sony's like, here's Spider-Man, you want to play it? Get a PlayStation. Thank you very much. Good night. And it's like, but wait, Halo, like, Gears of War 4. It's like, wait, I could play it on PC, Windows 10 PC. Like, and it's all like, wait, but I could buy it and it comes on my Xbox. Like, it's a whole craziness. And simplistic wins. And Microsoft's not being very simplistic with their model at all.
Well, I think the cross-buy thing, it's good because it gives more people an opportunity to play these games. But I can see the other end of it too, where you're talking about it being confusing. And I have an example for you guys of that. It was a few months ago where they announced that Halo Wars 2 physical version was canceled. Now, if you read into the article, it was just canceled on the PC. You could still buy a physical copy on the Xbox One, but a lot of people took that and ran with it and said, wow, they canceled the physical version of Halo Wars 2, and that created a lot of confusion because of that problem, because it was on both. So I could see both sides.
Yeah.
So, guys, we still got more topics to cover. It's a jam-packed show, like you said.
And I actually am about to head out. I am about 45 minutes over the allotted time I really should have had. Hey, you know what? This is what happens. This is what happens when you're married, boys.
Yeah.
So,
thanks for hopping on, Stinger.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank you for having me. Can I plug real quick?
Sure, go for it.
Cool. Everybody check out the Next Level Gaming channel. It's youtube.com/the original Next Level Gaming. Check out the NLG podcast Sunday nights with myself and a fantastic crew. These guys will vouch for them. We got Peter, Jason, and Frankie, and Juan, and, well, that Juan guy, and Nathan, and we have a great time. And we had Chris Charla on last week, which I can't believe people haven't watched yet. You guys got to see. It was a great dynamite interview with the head of ID at Xbox. That guy is unbelievable. And his energy, if you watch that particular podcast, man, his energy is absolutely infectious. And he got me excited for more indie games just talking to him. So anyway, thanks, guys, for having me. And hopefully I'll get on again soon.
All right, man. Thanks for showing up.
All right.
We also had James. He had to dip for a bit. It was like past 2 a.m. for him, so he's been trying to stay awake the whole time. We got to give James some props. He stays up real late for these shows, guys. He's over in England right now, and he stays up extremely late for every single show. We got to give him some mad props for that. But anyway, other topic for the evening is we're gonna get a little sad right now. Well, this is kind of like the ultimate catch-22 because it is no secret we are not fans of Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder, he's a good visual director. He's not a good story director. That's why his best works are normally adaptations of things that already exist that have a very set beginning, middle, and end.
Like 300.
Yeah. Like 300 and Watchmen, where it was, I'm copying something, I'm doing what I'm told, I'm not changing anything, maybe one or two things, but not much. He's sticking with the formula. And we had some news today that broke. It is kind of sad. And like I said, it's the ultimate catch-22. So Zack Snyder is leaving the Justice League project. He will no longer be working on Justice League effective immediately. And he is being replaced with Joss Whedon. Possibly the best possible choice for putting together a superhero team with his, Avengers credit. So there's that. However, the downside of all this is the what's going on behind the scenes. It's that Zack Snyder's daughter is dead, so he's taking time off with the family to grieve and mourn their loss, and it's sad. It's definitely sad.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, it's definitely sad.
I mean,
It's horrible. Yeah, because I was seeing, like, I looked it up and it was saying that there were polls to get him off of the program, off of like Justice League before this, right? Like they were like just petitions.
yeah,
Was that true? Yeah, because I was like, what are these petitions to get him off the Justice League?
they were. People don't like Zack Snyder. He has a really bad track record lately, and it's not like the best DCU movie was the first one, Man of Steel, which was like 50-50.
But I think it's also the way DC is just handling this stuff. Like, I'll tell you one thing today. Like, they had that screenshot of Amber Heard of like as one of those. I'm sorry, I don't know all the stuff, like the lore of that, but she's like a maiden or something like that with Aquaman, one of his.
Mira.
His women, yeah, one of his women. But like, I'm like, they're like, oh, and this is for the Aquaman movie. I'm like, huh? I just saw a clip of Aquaman in Justice League. I don't need to see a movie about him. Like, I don't want to know his origin, how he was like a fish or something like that. Like, I just can't believe that they're doing these origin stories of like, I'm like, it's so weird doing it in reverse. I know we talk about it a lot offline, how they handling this DC stuff, but it's just like, the origin stuff doesn't really work all the time. Like, look at Star Wars. It doesn't work. Like, when you know the ending, the beginning really doesn't hold that much weight. Like, when you know what's going to happen to these characters. I'll tell you, the best origin one is Better Call Saul. Plug that show. That is absolutely amazing. You want to know how origin story is in a spinoff? My God, that is the best. That's not superhero stuff, but I'm just saying. That's great.
But like I said, it really sucks. Like it
isn't it done? Like, isn't most of it done already?
I'm glad he's gone, but it's the conditions in which he had to leave are horrible.
Oh, that's horrible. Yeah, that's.
And then from what I understand, Whedon's role in this, he's going to be reshooting, or not reshooting. He's going to be the screenwriter for the reshoots. So I guess it remains to be seen how big of an effect he's going to have on it, I guess.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. And that's another sad thing about it, too. Like, what happens if it, like, they cut it and the movie looks so much better, like, with him under the helm? Like, that is just not, like, for Zack Snyder.
That's a really good point. Like if Justice League turns out to be great because of his influence on it, it's like, well, then what do you do with Zack Snyder? I mean, it's a really unfortunate set of circumstances, but
yeah. And then you're gonna have to parse who did what, who's responsible. Like it's gonna be complicated.
Gotta wait for the Blu-ray to say like these are the reshoots from Josh Whedon, the reshoots behind the scenes. Yeah, that's unfortunate. There used to
be like an S and a W at the top right corner of each scene. Like, this is a Whedon scene.
He commentates on, like his commentary. It's like, oh, Zach did this one. Move on. Fast forward.
You know what I would like to see? I'd like to see a Whedon cut trailer.
Well, you know it's coming.
To see the difference in tone.
You know it's coming.
That would be crazy.
That's the next trailer you're gonna see is gonna be his cut, his stake on it. You know it is.
Yeah.
They're not going to keep showing that old one now.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a horrible scenario, guys. I really hate having to do that. Ugh.
Yeah, it's horrible. Especially like there wasn't people really supporting him for the movie either, and then like just do this. It's like it's just not. I don't know. I just think DC as a whole with their IP is not doing a great job on it. It really shouldn't be. The directors like, they're kind of put in a shitty position.
Yeah. And I think Whedon's role should be as a visual director, do choreography, do something like that, but that's it. Like, don't put him in charge of a story. Don't put Gore Verbinski in charge of anything.
And Whedon just did the Avengers, right? He didn't do any of the individual stories.
Nope. Just Avengers 1 and 2.
Yeah, so look what he was walking into. Those guys had, like, except for the Hulk, who really didn't have a good stories. Like, they had two takes.
See, the thing is, in this scenario, everybody's ass is covered. Like, it's if the movie sucks, they're not going to blame Whedon. It's like, oh, you inherited a mess. Like, you don't have to worry about it. Like, it's not his to worry about. But like, if it's great, that looks, oh, Snyder had a good vision. Look at it, Snyder has a good vision, and then Whedon can still get some street cred too, because he did Avengers, so he's gonna get some credit anyway. But like, it's a win-win for everybody, really. But again, still the scenario in which it's happened. Ugh.
I got a question for you: can they still do reshoots with Batman as Ben Affleck?
Yeah,
they can.
Pretty
He's
sure.
still part of this one. He's just not doing another one.
Yeah, he's just not doing a solo Batman movie, from what I get.
Okay.
I think so. I heard some rumblings about that, but I'm not positive about it. I still need to see a couple things coming from there.
Yeah, they call him back. Hey, come back, Ben. You got to do some Batman. He goes like, I'm done with that character.
Also, briefly, we're going to do talk about Far Cry 5 for a little bit. So, lucky Far Cry, Red Dead's gone. So they have a shot.
You're saying there's a chance.
Yes, there's a chance. And so the thing in particular with this one is that Far Cry 5 is first of all, I think Sony has the marketing deal. I'm not positive about that, but from what I've seen, it's probably going to happen. But they are going to Montana. It looks to be modern day-ish. If you put a gun to my head, I'd probably say about the 80s, maybe 90s. But the thing about Montana is you can't really tell what time period it is.
It's all wilderness.
Yeah, it's lost in time.
Yeah. But it looks like there's going to be some religious cult thing going on out there, and it looks interesting. I'm interested, guys. It could be good. But you guys saw the trailer, I assume, or the teaser, rather.
No, I didn't get a chance to see it.
I didn't see it yet either.
There's really nothing to see. All it is just kind of shots of wilderness and bodies every so often. And that's kind of it. Like the only thing that was like, well, there were two things maybe notable. You see like this like sweeping landscape shot and like this one guy running away through like a field of corn or something, and you see one guy ringing a bell at a church with the other guy's skull just slamming into the thing. It's like, wow, that's it. That's all you see. I think they're doing an official reveal on Friday, if I remember correctly.
It sounds good because it's definitely a departure, from because as Far Cry 4 was pretty close to like Far Cry 3 was. I know they added the Himalayas and there was mountains, but I think the story of 3 really was what it was like. Not to throw out Better Call Saul again, but Voss is in that. The guy who plays Voss, that actor, and I think that story in 3 was good. And if they could go back to like that voodoo-ish and just maybe have some cool, the story in that background, that might work. Because 5 was just like 4 was just rebellions and stuff like that. It wasn't as. I thought 3 was great.
Cool.
A bunch of rich kids partying and then they get kidnapped and.
Yeah, 3 was a good storyline.
That was awesome.
If they took that idea and tried to expand on it a little bit, like you do something like, what if you were given like the ultimate choice, where there's actual penalties for not doing something or doing something else? Here's an example. So in Far Cry 4, you had basically 2 options in terms of skill trees. You could go stealth and hunter, or you could go loud, firearms, all that kind of stuff, vehicles and cool stuff like that. Those are the 2 real dichotomies. What if you took that and added actual like penalties to doing one or the other? Like, okay, running around in vehicles is going to get you caught. People are tracking you. People are following you. And if you're running around on an ATV, they're going to find your tracks. They're going to get you. So you always have to worry about a group of people chasing you. But if you don't, and you walk everywhere, or like you try to cover up your tracks and stuff, you could you can get the drop on people. You have an advantage, but you're slower as a result.
Like taking Dishonored elements and putting it into there. Like how if you kill a lot of people in the city, you get more rats and the environment. Like there's repercussions of your actions.
Like it not so much like penalize you in terms of like the story ending, but just like how you play the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so many cool ways you could go about it. But like I said, it's got to have something to it. It can't just be go do what you want, whatever. Ubisoft open world, do what you got to do.
5,000 icons on the map.
That's the whole thing. Because I was going to say, this is going to be one of the ones where, for me, I chalk it up under I don't care. I'm probably not going to buy it. I'm really burned out on the Ubisoft style of games. And then I think, Agro, what you're saying, I think that could work. But I don't know, unless they get creative with it, I don't know if that could work on a game with this kind of an open world scale. Because the way Ubisoft has their game set up, at least for me, they always feel kind of like more like a to-do list and less like a game.
Mm-hmm.
And if you make it more difficult to check off what you need to do on that to-do list, I'm not going to want to do it.
See, here's the thing. Far Cry games are about you start one corner of the map and you slowly take out all the bases and that kind of stuff. But the thing is, like, it gets boring towards the end because you've done all of them. And the only real nuance to it is where the location is for the base. But what if you made it so, like, okay, at the beginning, it's pretty easy. Like, they're not setting out patrols. They're not doing stuff like that. And, like, to an extent, Far Cry games have done this in the past. But I kind of want to focus on this a little bit more. You take, let's say you got, just hypothetically, you got 10 bases. There's got to be more than 10 bases for this to work. But you got 10 bases, and at the beginning, there's maybe one patrol a day, maybe. But let's say you take down a base, people are like, what the hell's going on? And so there's 2 patrols going around each day. And after maybe 3 or 4 bases, they know somebody's out there. And so they're sending people out there constantly to find you. And you could engage them by, like, killing them. You can just engage them and kill them that way. And, like, there's no work for you, but, like, more packs are going to go out looking for you as a result. More people are going to try to find you.
Yeah, but then if you do that to all of them, by the time you get to the middle of the game, you're going to be so overwhelmed and there's no going back.
Yeah. Or, like, you can try to hide and wait it out. Maybe they think you're gone.
Right.
Like, you can do it that way, and, like, that's a way to get around it.
Like a tolerability meter or something like that just
like okay, or climb a tree and, like, sleep in the tree for a day or 2. Like, wait for things to calm down a little bit.
In real time.
From just going balls to the wall and just kill everything. Requires you to
I think it's going to be typical Ubisoft, like, open up a node, the clock tower, and then it will be, I bet you there'll be, like, maybe little chapels. Like, you take over the chapel, and then it, like, opens up the land around it.
Yeah.
Climb the chapel. Yeah, I think it's going to be there. I think the story is that was a little cool about 3. Like, you were just this rich kid that had nothing, that was afraid and just didn't have any powers. And by the end, you became just, like, the badass, like, all these, like, these powers and stuff. And your character grew, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, that was fun. And there was the whole, like, Snow White aspect of, like, you have, like, this legend about you.
Yes. And you're saving your friends, you're building up them in the cave, you're getting their stories, and I thought it was great. And if they could do that kind of, I would like just the same type of story in just, like, the wilderness. And I bet you they'll take some elements probably from Far Cry, the what is it, the Primal, yeah, that one. They'll probably take, because I bet you a lot of those animals might be a little similar, like sort of the bears in the woods and stuff like that. You'll probably have similar as those. You're not going to have, like, lions and tigers running around Montana.
Or, like, here would be a cool idea, like, maybe talking about some of the animal aspects, maybe use horses as a regular thing now. It is Montana. Like,
it's going to be
an
an
option here.
Yeah, it's definitely probably going to Midwest, like, Western thing, and Red Dead moving probably helps a lot because a lot of people might be looking for that, that out west kind of game. Yes, it might not be old, old cowboy stuff, but you do get that cowboy type element in out west with that game if that's where it's going to take place.
But not just that, but, like, have it have it like play into the dichotomy of how you play. Like horses have better terrain, but they're not as fast, and you got to worry about like water and getting sure they got water and food or something like that. Make it like have issues with it. Like it's not just a simple cut and dry like okay, trucks and stuff you don't have to upkeep per se. You don't have to put them in the best of places, but they're loud. You go around from point A to point B, and everybody in the local vicinity knows where you are as a result. Like have it be something like that, or like they can't go in water.
Yeah,
horses can't. But like again, like people are tracking you, so you gotta like run through the water so they lose your scent, or like do something like that. It could be fun. I want to see what they got to show. Let's go with that.
Exactly. Yeah. Because they have Assassin's Creed coming out too, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So if they have 2 games that just icon maps. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Now we were gonna do our verses for the evening, but I just can't do it without Nick and the rest of the crew here. Everyone's dropping out like flies, but like it was a pretty good show, all things considered.
Yeah, we had a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
Crazy Monday.
Yeah, we'll save our verses for next week. It'll be a lot more fun with more people. Trust me, I came up with it this time, so it's pretty damn good. So, anyway, guys, thank you guys for showing up. Everybody, you guys can go and check in the description below. For those of you listening on Podbean, it will also be in the description there. Go follow us on Discord, talk to your boys. Thank you guys for showing up as usual. Brief little outro bits. For everybody who was here and is no longer here, Fame Entertainment, you can follow him at Fame ENT2K on Twitter, YouTube, Xbox. Well, Xbox is Insane Wayne, but there's a couple other guys, a couple other places you can find him. He is in charge of the Double XP podcast. You can follow James _ Wilson on Twitter and talk to him about Radiohead and whatever else.
That was funny how you said it.
And you guys can follow Undead3XVI on Twitter, Xbox, PlayStation, all that good stuff. Follow him, be a gamer score leader. And Mike.
All right, guys, it's Mike from the Inner Circle at ticgn.com. You can check me out on the website. Follow me on Twitter at MikePTruth. Also, you can find me on Xbox, PSN, Switch, whatever. Thank you for joining us again for another episode of the Multiverse Show. We are on the expedition of podcasts to make sure that all other podcasts are deleted. Yes.
And we had our guest on, Jez.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on here. Yeah, sorry for the technical problems, all that hardware. It gets confusing after a while, but I finally found a headset that worked. You can follow me on Jez7780 on Twitter, and I'm on Jez77 on Xbox and Steam, Jez7780. Thank you again, guys. Great show.
All right. And you guys can follow me at AnchormanV2, Xbox, Twitter, everything else, PlayStation, Beam, Twitch, YouTube, anything else in existence.
Oh, one thing. They did say there's going to be some Beam announcement on Thursday.
Oh, yeah, Beam announcement on Thursday. Don't know what it is, but could be cool. We don't know. I kind of think it might be like a partnership program, but I don't know.
Yeah.
No, anyway, guys, this has been the Multiverse Show, episode 54. Thank you guys for showing up. As you know, it's the greatest show on Mondays. We will see you guys later.